Come on.
All right. So, hello everyone, back to the EOF radio. We are back after lunch. It was really needed. Also the coffee, right?
Yeah.
The coffee is needed. And as you can see, so I'm back with Mateusz, but we also have Maria today with us. Am I
Hello.
saying your name correctly?
Yes, Maria Virginia.
All right. Can you please first introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Córdoba, Argentina, and I'm part of the Agriculture and Justice Village of the Economy of Francesco.
Mhm.
I joined as an entrepreneur.
Okay. So did you register already for the event in 2020 or
Yes.
from
Yeah.
the very beginning?
Yeah, the very beginning, the letter, the 1st of May, arrived to me very as a personal call. It was a meeting that I was having with other social entrepreneurs. And when we were reading this letter all together, I felt it very as an invitation. So from the beginning, I joined I mean, it took me a little bit, no? Like then I thought about that, and then I decided to apply.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
from Colombia?
No, I'm from Argentina, the land
She's
of the
from-
Pope and the mate.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, welcome here, Maria Virginia.
Hola,
It's
buen día.
so good having you here. And Wes, we're talking about how is it going? How is EOF going? Tell us, how was the morning for you? What did you see that whoa, that's it. Tell us.
So what I can tell you is that what I saw is a lot of faces. For me, this morning was a place of encounter of so many people that we had the opportunity to walk this journey together, but virtually. And this morning, like if I have to close my eyes and remember, what I see is like a lot of conversations, a lot of multiple conversations happening together, people coming.
Many
and-
languages.
Yes, I'm feeling like encounter, because it's not like an stranger that I've been talking with, but it's a friend that, yeah, it suddenly comes into like face to face reality.
Can you tell us also a bit more about your background? What do you do?
Yeah, so my background is in business administration. I studied in Argentina, and then I started my own company. And from that, I've been involved in different projects and the side of social business with the role of agriculture, regenerative agriculture, and also like from this last period of time, also the connection with the international policies and the role of the international organizations.
Great. So I think this is a great introduction to this new session that we have, because we want to dig more into what is concretely happening with the economy of Francesco, right? And it would be very interesting to know a bit more about this economy of Francesco Farms. Is it the name of the project?
That is a new name that you have
Yeah,
just
yeah.
created.
Farms of Francesco.
You are entrepreneur. What is your...
New branding here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I really need the coffee. I think
Me
it's
too,
not
but
sounding
I
well.
probably need a mate, but I'm not finding a hot water
Do you
so
have
far.
mate? If you want, feel free.
No, I have it.
Anyways.
I have it in the bag. No, but
Tell us a bit about this project.
yes. So some of other people call it also like Laudato Si Farms, but the project is called Farm of Francesco.
All right.
And it was born within the Agriculture and Justice Village of the Economy of Francesco. Back at the beginning of when we started gathering and we realized that the event was not going to be face to face and it was going to be online, we divided the work of our village in 3 groups, working groups. And with some of the youth, we started working in a startup working group, trying to brainstorm different ideas on projects that could mitigate the injustices in agriculture. So through all that process that we did for like 1 year, that I was coordinating together with someone else from the village, what we were seeing is that a lot of the injustices we were identifying in the territories that were putting the farmer at the center were very similar in different of the countries that we represented. So this work, and together with like talking with farmers, we decided to take action on that and starting identifying this and deciding which injustices we could take action. So we chose to work with the farmers, especially youth, and we chose the topic of the desertification of soils and the lack of awareness or access that farmers in the peripheries have to this knowledge and to the knowledge of regenerative agriculture. So as part of this process, the Farm of Francesco was born.
All right.
Great. Can I ask you to tell us a little bit more about where Farms of Francesco is happening and who is involved? Why there?
Yeah, so we started being 12 youth from different countries. So from Poland, Brazil, Colombia, China, Germany, Italy. Yeah, we were like really representing different countries. And the first idea and the first approach that we had, and very important country, Nigeria as well, we had a team member from Nigeria, is that we wanted to start a project that started from the ground. So together with two of the team members in Brazil and Nigeria, our first solution was to design demo farms, so regenerative agriculture demo farms in the two territories. And together with Rita, one of our team members of Nigeria, she really like switched from her job and started the farm in Ibadan, Nigeria. And after that, like a lot of like people organizations that were really relating with the values started to talk to us that they wanted to join the network. So it really switched from being the demo farms to being more like a community of farmers that are living these values and that are like really applying Laudato Si in the like from the ground.
And I think it's important just for those who want to know more about Farms of Francesco, that there's a website, there are social media, right, Maria Virginia? So I know we're still in the middle, okay, but I think that you could suggest for people to know more about Farms of Francesco, where they can find the info, if they want to help, if they want to donate, if they want to join the project.
Yeah, for sure. If they Google Farm of Francesco, it will show up. No, but they can. francescofarms.com is our website. You can connect with us like by leaving your contact details in a form that we have. Also, like you can connect to like my email is mariavirginia@francescofarm.com. So you can also like reach. And something that I would like to say, and I was saying hello to people that is here, is that. Farm of Francesco is not just ours, and it's not just something that we created and is done. It's something that keeps moving, and it was always like a vehicle and a space for other people to connect and do things together. And like Dawn that is here, like she has been helping a lot, like as a senior, even that she was from the finance village. We have adopted her as well as the Agriculture and Justice and Farm of Francesco. Flor that joined like recently to the Economy of Francesco, she is helping with social media. So it's really like a process that keeps growing and keeps moving and keeps changing, but we believe that is the economy that we don't know that we want to build, right? Like an economy that still has a shape that we cannot see with clarity, but we have faith in how it's evolving.
I think it's a great inspiration for many people who would like to start a project, maybe other villagers for other topics. I would like to go back to the roots. So you mentioned all the countries that you guys are from. Can you specify how did it? So someone shared the idea and then everyone gathered. But how did you manage this project, which is very linked to the physical world, while in a pandemic from all these different countries?
I still don't know. No, but what I will say is that when the event was canceled, and everything had to be online, like we really adapted to the reality, to the online Zoom, Google Meets, like all that tools. Of course that it was a challenge because we are farmers and we have like not internet all the time.
There's
like,
no way virtual farmers, right?
Yeah, so we were like really, and especially the connection with Nigeria was very hard because it cuts a lot, but the will and the intention was always there. So we, first it was like every other week that we were meeting, then every week, then it was like daily work, like between some of us. And at some point this, like it was not a project anymore, it was like an organization like that we decided to register and everything, right? But that is how it happened. I don't know how, but it happened. So I'm grateful.
Great. And so there is all this process happening. What is the reality now? What is Farms of Francesco doing now in all these different countries?
Yeah, so right now we have two main actions that we are doing. We keep doing the work on the ground because we really believe on the practical and working from the ground with farmers. So right now we are doing educational course, a challenge that we called with different farmers in Nigeria, working with 5 very small villages, where we form them in entrepreneurship, regenerative agriculture, and we bring right now, but also connecting with processes that are global, that farmers need to be represented, like processes of the UN, like the COPs, and the Holy See as well, the Vatican.
Well, great. And I think that everybody who is thinking about that and want to comment, want to send suggestions, you can send a message, a question to Maria Virginia. If she doesn't answer now, she can answer later because it will be posted on our YouTube channel. But I'd like that if you could spread a message to the world, like we are finishing here, but this message will stay here with us. What is your message, not just for today, but for life?
I think that I would say that if you feel that there is a fire inside you, something that is really like catching your inside, like it's not letting you sleep because you think about this, and that you could do something on that, just do it, right? Take action on that and do it, even that you don't know how that is going to end, because at the end we don't know how it's going to end. But if you have that fire, share that with others, because for sure there is someone else having that fire, and together we can take action. So that's
Great. Thank you very much for
no,
coming.
thank you.
So don't hesitate, I guess, to also use the app to connect with other attendees, either physical attendees or online, so you can also meet and exchange about possible fires that you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria
And we
Virginia.
see you back in a short break.
See you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Let's take a photo.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm not.
How's it going? Are you
Doing so great.
Your road yesterday?
Yes, last night. Yeah. You? When did you arrive?
I'm here arrived Tuesday.
Okay.
And I arrived in Rome Saturday.
Oh, nice. I think I arrived in Rome Saturday too, actually. But I went to Bologna for 2 days.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Ciao.
To me. Well, everybody, we are here now with a great person. She has a wonderful project. She is one of these amazing people that we have here today. Of course, we just invite amazing people, okay? We're just channels. Here's, we have Elizabeth Garland, right? I'm Spanish,
You're
right?
saying it perfectly.
Oh, thank you. So she is one of these EOFs results, fruits, projects, outputs that we have. And she has an amazing initiative. So, Elizabeth, I want speak more. I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us, why are you here?
Absolutely. So I am Elizabeth Garland. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, in the United States. And the Economy of Francesco launched when I was meeting with three other friends about Catholic social teaching and the economy. We were like nerds. We thought we were the only ones that cared about this topic. And then we realized when Pope Francis shared his letter that there was a whole global movement of people who wanted to become these protagonists of transformation in this area of economy. So my background in finance and investing, and I was always interested in how we could transform the finance system to be at the service of humanity and the planet. And I realized through the Economy of Francesco that I could connect to this global network of people who had this same desire. So that's where it all began. About 6 months later, I had my first child. I became a mother. And anyone who tells you about having a child, it changes your whole worldview. All of a sudden, you want to become a good ancestor to your children and your children's children. And so it helped me think about the long term. What kind of future am I going to be building for her and for future generations? And I realized I didn't have any time to waste. I needed to start working on this now. So we launched something called the Francesco Collaborative. And my colleague Felipe and I created this network of investors starting in the United States, but it's now growing to other countries. And this network of investors is focused on how to use the principles of our faith tradition, so Catholic social teaching principles, to practice a very different kind of finance. So it's really a courageous act because you have to go against the status quo. You have to try to do things differently. So, anyways.
Well, whoa, right, Laura? I have two amazing women here with me, so I'll let Laura. She's from the United States too. Maybe you know each other. I don't know, but Laura, please.
Elizabeth, we are so happy that you are here. You are in Assisi. You are changing the world. You're a born leader. And really tell us more, because the Economy of Francesco is not well known yet in Canada and the United States. You and I are outliers,
Yes,
and ambassadors. And how can young people get involved?
So we have been starting to organize quarterly meetings to invite young people in. I think what's been important is to recognize that many people want integral lives rather than sort of thinking about professions and work as separate from our core motivations and the things that help us be the deepest, most faithful version of ourselves. We actually need to integrate these things. So we've been creating these conversation spaces. Because of COVID, it's been primarily virtual, but these conversation spaces where people can come together around these different topics and think about, okay, so how does the vision and the call of the Economy of Francesco intersect with my interests in, whatever I'm working in or studying? So I think that's a global reality, but also in the United States, we really need to think deeply about this question of finance and humanity, because so much power is concentrated in the hands of people who have a lot of wealth. And we really have to wrestle with how we can distribute that power and how we can redress these power imbalances. And so that's why we've started to create these workshops. We call them Livable Future Investing Workshops. And we ask people to examine the structural inequalities of the global economy and then ask themselves, what's my most important work to change these power imbalances, to create more participation, to bring more people in and create this different kind of future?
I want to tell that I will be one of the next students.
Yes.
I'm already in. I'm not just kidding. And you said us, not here, but when I read about you, that you already have a group of investors.
Right.
And they more than $10 million around this people. But what is the focus? what's next? Because we're talking about principles, values, and I really like what you say because I always remember the Pope. We have to create bridges,
Yeah.
not walls.
Yes. Yes.
So I think you're doing it amazingly. But what's next?
What's next? Well, we need to make finance more relational. We need to create opportunities for encounter. So we took one group of investors to visit a community in the southern United States, to visit a cooperative there and study alternative social enterprise. We're hoping to go to Mexico next year. So we've been planning a collaboration with the Mexico Hub. So I think these kinds of encounters, like Pope Francis says, these encounters are what transform us. So we need more of those. So we're trying to bring together groups of investors to meet with the Economy Francesco hubs in different parts of the world so that they develop this relationship. And then they see, oh, this is about me and my life and our collective lives as humanity. Like, we have a role to play here.
And this is possible.
This is possible. That's right. So you mentioned, we've had some projects that have been able to get investment from these investors who want to be protagonists of transformation, religious congregations, healthcare institutions, foundations, universities, foundations, family offices, others. There are so many more to invite into this process. We've had about 130 people go through our workshops. We want to keep building that. We want to bring more people in, and then we want to organize these investor encounters. So we would love to talk to other hubs around the world about how we can organize these encounters.
Whoa. Perfect, right, Laura? Any other question from you? Because I'm thinking that we should have a hub in New York.
Small but growing. And so, you've brought up a lot. There's a lot of intergenerational aspects to what you're doing. You became a mother in the pandemic. That is a life-changing moment.
Yes.
You are thinking about future generations. You are thinking about how do we all become better human beings.
Yes.
To help others in different communities, different corners of the planet. Can you share with us today one of your greatest stories about resilience?
Oh, well, gosh. I mean, when I think about resilience, I think about the many ways that as young people, when we show up in organizations and institutions, the processes are so entrenched.
Yeah.
The leadership can be so entrenched, and there can be a lot of resistance to bringing kind of fresh ideas and fresh air to those organizations. So I've had experiences of working in different types of organizations and institutions and recognizing that an old leadership paradigm and an old economic paradigm is very alive and well in those places.
True.
And to me, resilience is about relationships. So if I can start from this place of human connection and I can understand what are the deepest motivations of the people I'm working with, the leaders I'm working with, what is it that actually moves them as people, then I can do these relational encounters and I can start to understand how I can support them in their most important work. And gradually it feels like that builds a culture of resilience because we can start to see ways to transform these systems. But this is systems change work, and it's super hard, and it requires a lot of resilience. So in our workshops, actually, we examine this idea of what are relational encounters. When you're someone working, trying to change finance, you have a finance committee, you have a board. A lot of times people are so entrenched in profit maximization logic, right? Or they have certain incentives they've always adhered to. And we want to say, you know what? To change, you need to enroll those people in your new vision for a future economy. So how are you going to do that? You're going to do it through relational organizing. So it's a little bit of a different spin on your question, but that's what came to mind when you said resilience.
I love it.
No, this is a free space, right? So we're here exactly for this, to think, to reflect, and seeing you, seeing Lara and Dr. Dom, she was here
Yes.
around. I see many women changing the world with practical actions. We're not talking about just theory. We're talking a lot more than that. We're talking about start a project, mobilize people. You have to sell your idea every day.
Yeah.
Because when you just sell profit, it's okay. But you have to sell for its principles, values, and many things like that. But you talked about your daughter. We're talking about a legacy.
Yeah.
So thinking about the future generations,
Yes.
what do you imagine for your daughter? What world, what space, what kind of financial system would you like to pass
Oh,
to her?
I could spend years thinking about that question, Mateos. Hopefully will. So I guess in the United States, we still are struggling very much with individualism as the centerpiece of a capitalist economic system. And when I think about my daughter's future, I hope for her that the culture has started to change in ways that support a more relational way of being, where she is no longer trying to struggle individually to make a quote unquote successful future, but that she understands that the good life is not a goods life. So, like, a good life isn't about accumulating as much stuff as you can get or accumulating as much money. It's about the depth and the quality of your relationships in your life, right? So, I hope that she has many opportunities for that. I hope that we live in a world where there's more shared infrastructure, more common infrastructure that we know how to invest in, and that we're awake to the ways that we are stewards of this incredible human and more than human world, right? Like all the natural, incredible gifts that and Pope Francis is calling us to care for, that there are policies and structures and a culture that supports and upholds that kind of care for creation. So to me, culture is about the sum of ideas in circulation. And so I hope that the economy of Francesco just puts a bunch of incredible ideas out that continue to circulate and build so we can start to be a force to change the culture.
Whoa. No, it's not easy when you have this great answer. Question again. Okay, I'm leaving. No, I'm not leaving. But at first, I'd like to add, I didn't say congratulations for your project, because we are here to inspire people, not just for this day.
Yeah.
We're here to inspire people and to be inspired. So for sure, you
Yes,
inspire
I'm
us.
very inspired by you.
No, thank you.
It's mutual.
Mutual, really mutual. I'm your student. And we are here with this amazing opportunity to spread the message, to tell people what we are doing, and maybe start a project in Mexico and New York, in Brazil, or wherever.
Yes.
The most
do it.
important is, well, you want to help, come.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's partner.
Thinking about this collaborative way to build things.
Right.
How can anyone that, I have an idea as Elizabeth, but how do I start it?
Well, I think what's helped us start and get some energy and momentum is to think in coalitions. So, we have this kind of model where we like to maybe come up with an idea and start our own company or start our own nonprofit or different organization. What Felipe and I have done is we've started from the place of building relationships. So we started looking in different organizations, different collaboratives, different associations. How can we start with building coalitions among us? Because actually we need a culture of movement building and movement support. We have to stop thinking in such a siloed way about how change happens. So when we started building these workshops, we would invite a lot of people to the table. We would start brokering partnerships and thinking about ways to do projects together. And I will say, it's not always been easy, because a lot of people still like to think about, this is what I do with my organization, right? So it's challenging the culture. But I think bringing a movement consciousness to this work will help create the groundswell that we need to shift the culture.
I think you're right. And I think you're saying a very important thing, that we have to work together.
Yes.
And sometimes we have to be open to change our ideas, or at least to be flexible.
Yeah.
Because we're not absolutely right. I have an idea, but you improve my idea. Laura improved even better.
Of course.
So now we have a group.
I love it.
Yeah, but no, it's my idea, just mine.
Right.
Doesn't work, right?
Yeah, doesn't get nearly as far as it could go. So you're right. I love this idea of the wisdom is in the community, right? So how do we keep tapping into that kind of wisdom?
Perfect. And we are almost finishing this amazing chat with Elizabeth, but we are asking to people to say a special message, not just thinking, oh, think like this. You have one phrase or one message to spread to the world, but everybody will listen. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say?
So I think I'd say that there are sort of 3 P's I always keep in mind if we want to change the system, the finance system, economic system. It's power. Who has the power? Who doesn't have the power? Participation. How do you invite more people to participate to redistribute that power? And then protagonist. So ask yourself, like, what is your most important work to do? Because you're a protagonist of transformation, right? That's what Pope Francis has invited us to be. So power, participation, protagonist.
Amazing. We are all protagonists of the future.
Yes.
Elizabeth, thank you.
Thank
this
you,
is
Laura.
really just the beginning, and we can't wait to see you in 2023.
Thank you.
If you want to share with us, is the social media yours or the project?
So we have a website. If you just search Francesco Collaborative, francescocollaborative.org, you'll find us. There's contact information there. So come join us.
So great. Thank you very much again, Elizabeth. And
Thanks.
thank you. See you soon, guys.
That was really good. That was amazing.